Hello. Hi. Let's get you guys in. I was gonna say happy April, and then I just realized we're midway, we're 2 weeks into April. Hello. So we're basically almost in May, my birthday month. So I wanted to take today's live and speak more about the broader politics within which Ayurveda exists. Obviously, the way in which most practitioners and coaches work, and the reasons why most people come to learn Ayurveda is to elevate individual health. Hey, Diane. To elevate individual health, our individual sense of vitality and vibrancy, to heal from our own personal chronic mental, physical, energetic challenges, right? The very pressing, immediate things that we're working through. And so most of my content, most of my teaching, most of the other lives I've done really center what it means to hold yourself in that embodiment of truth and health, but also support others around you to move through their own personal chronic challenges and really address it at the roots. But it's interesting because when I actually just started really getting deep into Ayurveda, my love for it was more about how it really helped to mend relationships between humans and land and between humans and other humans. It was very interpersonal. It was very in the collective. It was very about the social. It was very about the public, more so than even the individual. It was like there is no individual without the collective, right? There is no me without the sustenance of food, without the air that I'm breathing, without the feelings of belonging and community that I get from people around me, from being in place. There is no me if everything around me is sick. And what does it mean to center a wellness practice and a health practice that isn't just about the individual, but actually about the collective, actually about our interdependence with all beings and all things? And, you know, we all know that we live in a very ruptured society. A current era that we're situated in is full of toxicity and full of upside down values and full of sickness, not just internally, but that internal state is rippled and seen outside of us, collectively, globally. And so even more so, what does it mean to be integrating a healing practice that is in conversation with tending to those ruptures on all scales? Because in my opinion, is it really a wellness practice? Is it really a healing practice if it's at the cost in a really big way? And of course that takes discernment to even understand, you know, the scales of our, how we affect things outside of us. But is it really a healing practice or a wellness practice if we aren't tending to, if we aren't engaged with mending the larger systems within which we exist? So that was just it was so big for me. It was so huge for me. Now the way in which I practice, because I'm training and I'm mentoring students to really learn how to guide others, I've kind of pulled back a little bit on speaking on that side of things, but it's so important to me. So I thought I'd just take some time to center it here. But yeah, my practice was really my professional practice was really about how indigenous spiritual knowledge across the globe, right, not just Ayurvedic or Vedic spiritual knowledge, could really help repair these fractured relationships between us and our surroundings. And that includes other humans, that includes other communities, that includes communities that we live alongside, and also plants and trees and the land and the ocean and the air, and all of the miracles that we feel so in awe with, and yet we're not acting right as a global society. So on that note, I was like, in that field, I was investigating different policy interventions, and I was really getting into a lot of contemporary writers and academics and intellectuals who were talking on these subjects, and were talking about these different very creative, very imaginative frameworks through which we could look into what it means to actually live in reciprocity with the land, what it means to actually be in mutual aid and care, and what it really means to act out social justice or liberation through our ways of being with one another, through grassroots movements, through activism, through art, all of these things, different types of economies, like the gift economy. So I was really getting into all of that. And it was, I mean, absolutely stunning. Some of the writers that you'll find who are really talking about different ways of weaving worlds together, and imagining, just different structures of relating with one another. Absolutely stunning. And but each of anything I would read, and I would get to the root of it, I would just be like, well, this is Ayurveda. This is Ayurveda. This is what Ayurveda is saying. This is what Ayurveda is teaching us. This is what, like, the core Vedic teachings that you find, like, let's specifically speak on Ayurveda, which is the science of life, or the wisdom of life, or the wisdom of longevity. These are the corest of the core principles are already there. They're already set. They're already teaching exactly this, how to live in reciprocity with the land, what exactly it means for a wellness science and a healing modality to not just be about the individual, but to be about the collective. What does it mean to truly be in care of oneself? What does it mean to be listening deeply, deep listening to not only ourselves, but our environments, our surroundings? All of these things were like, oh my God, it's here. It's here. This is exactly what they're teaching. And they're teaching it in this absolutely exquisite scientific form that permeates all things I do. How I choose to eat, how I choose to create a routine during my day, how I choose to engage with the world around me, what are the values that I'm upholding, all of these things. How am I choosing to breathe? How am I choosing to integrate quietude? How am I choosing my environments and the types of things I say yes to and the types of things I say no to? How am I creating boundaries? All of this through daily choices that we make as individuals, that we have the power to make, right? Because Ayurveda is about empowering the individual as well, saying, yes, we live in these toxic systems and things are chaos around, but even within all of that, there's a scale, there's a degree, and how much you are being in your seat of empowerment can actually affect the state of your well-being and the collective well-being a lot. So don't diminish your power by saying, oh, it's all the corporations, oh, it's capitalism, it's all constantly externalizing without recognizing, oh my God, even within all of this toxicity, I actually have the power to feel vital because of all of these free resources that I've been gifted with and my body has been gifted with that I can tap into. So kind of lost stream there. But yeah, bringing the power back to the individual, while also recognizing this larger web that we are interwoven within. And I just want to premise, because I don't know why this conversation even ever happens. It feels so ridiculous to me. Why is empowering the individual and saying I have choices that I get to make that actually serve my best health, and I actually get to do that, and maybe I haven't been. Why does bringing accountability to the individual absolve larger systems of harm? Why? It doesn't. Why do people ever have this argument when I say, let's bring our power back, let's tap into the medicine within, let's make more discerning, wiser, ethical choices? This is absolutely integral if you want to see the health of a larger system. Why do people come at me saying, Niv, it's not about the individual, it's about the collective, it's about the larger systems? And why can't it be about both? And what are you doing within your individual life to actually cut some of those cycles of harm that you are seeing outside of you and pointing fingers to outside of you? What are you doing about it inside of you? And Ayurveda says that's integral. That's an integral piece. It's just going to keep rippling. Harm is going to keep rippling outwards if we're not tending to things internally. And obviously, when we begin to tend to things internally, we recognize how dependent we are on these external systems, and our pressure, our choices, our boycotts, all of those things that kind of really acknowledge the immensity and the power of these systems around us. They strengthen, they become more discerning, they become more sharp and vigilant and informed. Hello. So I hope all of that is landing up until now, because I know I go really fast sometimes and I just kind of throw together my stream of consciousness. I just throw together the different things that are coming through for me. But let's just look, okay, let's just take a step back and let's just look at some of the core pillars of health that Ayurveda introduces us to, and how just in acknowledging these core pillars, we are already coming into a very caring and discerning dialogue with the larger collective that we are woven within, and thinking about what it means to care for this collective in a really, in a really powerful, potent way. So the first thing that we all know is that Ayurveda understands that we are all made up of 5 core elements, Pancha Mahabhutas. And these 5 core elements are subtle, they are energetic, and they come together to create tangible matter. So it's like, instead of atoms and molecules, we have these subtle 5 elements. And these elements are in the ocean, they're in the land, they're in my human body, they're in the food that I'm eating, they're in the plants that I'm eating. So just recognizing that, first of all, this shared fabric, this shared materiality between me and all things, between me and other humans. And Ayurveda says that it is the balance of these 5 elements. These 5 elements come together to create the 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. I'm not going to get into the details of all of this, but these are the 3 functional energetics. And it is integral for sound health, which is a clear and joyful, easeful mind, a grounded, centered mind-body system, energy in the body, vitality, physical vitality, a strong digestive system, a strong metabolism. All of this is health, right? It is integral for health, for a person's health, that all these 3 doshas, these 5 elements, these 3 doshas are in balance. And how do they get off balance? Because everything around us is in flux. Everything around us is constantly changing. The weather patterns, what we are eating and putting into our bodies, the conversations we are having, the places we are going. Everything is constantly moving and changing. What we're doing is creating flux. And like I said, everything is this 5 elements. Everything is these 3 doshas. So we're constantly negotiating these 3 functional energetics and how they ebb and flow within us. And knowing that balance in these 3 doshas is integral to health means that we need to have a tuned awareness into how these doshas express themselves in all things. In all different types of environments, in all the different types of foods we're eating, in the herbs we're taking in, if we're sitting at a cafe and the choices we're making, the types of conversations we're having, the emotions that we're indulging, all of this is the 3 doshas at play. And so when we first of all just begin to deepen our awareness of these functional energetics, we deepen our awareness of our shared materiality and existence with all things. And that creates a type of kinship which beckons deep care, where it's more natural for us to care when we feel closeness. Am I right? It's more, it comes more, I'm not saying, I'm not putting a judgment, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I found that you tend to care or you tend to feel for something with more intensity when you feel a kinship, when you feel a closeness, when you feel familiarity. So step 1 in Ayurveda is inviting you into this closeness, this familiarity, this shared existence, this shared materiality, this brotherhood, this sisterhood, this deep intimacy with everything, what you put on your plate, whether you're choosing to have a tea or a latte, the type of yoga that you're doing in the morning, the type of landscape that you're looking in, walking through, the season, everything, you get to start tuning into what is this elemental makeup. You feel so aware of it. It becomes so alive to you, and that invites you into just a deeper compassion, a deeper empathy, a deeper care. And this is a layer that is a non-negotiable to, if we want to, as a larger collective, actually care, like value care, right? Value compassion, as opposed to, quick dopamine hits or consumption or superficial things. So there's just kind of an entry point, right? And I haven't even gone into the specificities of how Ayurveda even invites you to care. It just, the hows. The fact is it elicits, it creates, it elevates the sensation of care of things that are so beyond you, which is beautiful. Like, wow. I mean, just that alone is life-changing enough, right? To be able to walk through this life with that deeper sensibility of compassion and listening. I wonder the level, just, yeah, like ignorance. Like there was such a big veil on me before I began to open myself to this wisdom and started to tread, like genuinely feel like I'm treading through this earth now with so much more care. And I'm like, is there a better word for that? Because I'm saying it a lot, but I'm saying it right now. As I'm saying it right now, I feel my heart just like, because I'm remembering what it felt like to have all of these layers of just ignorance and distractedness and like numbness. Maybe that's a better word. Numbness. And then start to shed it and just start to feel so deeply in ways that were true to me, but I had actively numbed just to get on with society and just to get, do things and be a part of whatever the trend, the movement, the pace, the hustle is and was. And allowing myself to just really feel deeply and not be, of course it's overwhelming. A lot of my students move through a period of overwhelm, some more than others, when they do open themselves up to this level of awareness and discernment and care and compassion, because it's a lot for the heart to suddenly hold and see and be tuned into, because simultaneously that's an acknowledgement of how you might have walked before, and forgiving yourself for that, for the way in which you treated certain things, people, places, yourself. But it's also an acknowledgement of the intensity of sickness that we are currently situated in, globally, politically, socially. So yeah, there's overwhelm, but the beautiful thing is, of course, that now we are also invited into actual tools and practices to help nurture, nourish, ground, and cleanse our mind, our body. So we are simultaneously equipped to even hold the intensity of it. And we do create resilience through the actual steps from the inside out to hold this new awareness, to hold this new sensitivity, to hold this new level of care, which is integral. And that's a piece that's sometimes missing, right? When you see people who are in the front lines of activism or collective work, social justice work, the care is already alive within them. They were never ones to numb themselves, but they are so separated from the actual practices and tools to create the resilience and clarity from the inside out that is going to help them hold that. And so then you see them break down, fall into spirals of sickness, and unfortunately perpetuate harm within their own body that is not actually serving anyone or anything. So it needs to be both simultaneously. So now we come to, hey Alejandro, now we come to another part of Ayurveda. So the first was just in acknowledging these 5 elements, this shared existence, the 3 doshas in all things, the land, the plants, the food, ourselves, our temperaments, our peers, and really being tuned into that interdependence, really being tuned into how the things are affecting us, how we are affecting the other things, that incredible ebb and flow, that incredible web, just like really seeing it, sensing it, knowing it. There's subpillars of health, one of which is ethics, actually, or living in accordance to cosmic intelligence. And there are certain laws in cosmic intelligence, right? Certain karmic laws, dharmic laws. The fact that it's a sub-pillar, it's mentioned, it's spoken about, is already so potent. That a sub-pillar, a foundational aspect of your individual health is actually contingent on how you relate with the world around you, with people around you. So one way of understanding this is through sexual energy, and I speak on this sometimes, is there's a sleeping leg, sleeping foot. How you share and open yourself up to sexual energy and sexual intimacy with people around you, and being so intentional, being so mindful about it, recognizing that releasing that potent sexual energy, which is actually your creative energy and also linked to your vital life force and immune system and immunity, your shield of your auric shield of protection. That's what Ayurveda actually tells you when we talk about sexual energy. So being so intentional about how that flows through you and to whom, because if it is mindlessly thrown out here and there, it's 100% is going to impact your immunity and your inner health. It's just a lot of leaky energy, and we only have so much because, you know, we're not out here being yogis doing pranayama and yoga all day, right? We're living a worldly life. We're having jobs, we're going to the markets, we have families to tend to, we have relationships. So because of that, let's acknowledge there is a certain amount of energy that we are kind of having within ourselves. So being so intentional with it, that's what brahmacharya, this sub-pillar of health, invites us into. That what are the consequences of leaky energy, and how we can be mindful about that. That's one aspect. The other is, of course, you're receiving someone else's sexual energy. That's a karmic imprint. So are you ready to hold that? Is your body ready to hold that again and again and again from different people and different intimacies? Or is it actually going to weaken you and weaken your clarity and weaken your health? So that's one aspect. The other aspect is just understanding that we are living in this interdependent web. And so the quality and the values with which we show up affect that whole web, and in turn affect us. And cultivating a clear mind-body system is actually contingent on these ethics with which we show up. So it's connected to how we direct our energy and whether leaky energy is happening and how it's happening. So one of these ethics is just moderation. Moderation, just feeling into what it means to take a step inwards, to not be in this mentality of scarcity and hoarding and accumulating and greed, and to really feel in your body and your mind fulfillment and satisfaction and contentment that comes from deep within, so that your choices can actually be more mindful and intentional, and that's helpful for not only you, but for the larger fabric within which you exist. And there are so many layers actually to the subpillar that I speak on sometimes, with regards to even non-violence, with regards to kindness, with regards to prayer and devotion. And really just thinking about it, it's like, where do you direct your energetic sensibilities? What kinds of values, what kinds of ethics? And recognizing again that upholding these not only ripples out into the larger collective and how you engage and care for the collective, but it really also simultaneously helps you to keep your own mind-body system clear. I just cannot talk enough about how the ethics, for example, this one, let's say, of being so intentional and mindful of where I direct and share my sexual energy. That's one. And let's say one other ethic of truthfulness and honesty. I cannot tell you how much toxicity it has helped me to release from my individual life, my energetic sense of being, and overall state of vitality, that I wasn't even aware how much it was affecting me before. And just think, how beneficial is this to the collective? Because think of the opposite, which is lying, let's say, and complete lack of intentionality with sharing sexual intimacy. The opposite, that is complete chaos. Everyone lying, speaking untruths, not being transparent, not living in integrity, not following their own integrity. That's complete chaos collectively, right? But also individually, it's a huge toxic load. So this is incredible, because we're talking about, again, let's remember what we're talking about. We're talking about a wellness modality. We're talking about a healing modality. We're talking about healthcare. We're talking about doctor, nurse. We're talking about what it means to relieve your body of chronic disease and sickness, anxiety and gut pain and all of the things, insomnia and headaches and lethargy and fogginess and all of the things that people are constantly dealing with. We're talking about a wellness modality, Ayurveda, that helps you to tend to the roots of these diseases while being in active conversation with the collective, and again and again and again through all of its tools, teaching you that it's not just about you. It's about how you relate with this larger web. And how you relate with this larger web is directly impacting you. So even if you want to be completely selfish, even if you only want to think about your own individual health, recognizing that you are receiving from the breath that you breathe, you are receiving the water. It's environmental all around. You cannot neglect that. You cannot ignore that. So what are the implications then? What does it actually mean to care for all of this? And now here's an actual framework, a framework of values, a framework of ethics, a framework that allows you to understand the seasons, a framework that allows you to understand the energetics of food and plants beyond their numbers, calories, proteins, carbs, blah, blah. They are energetic, spiritual forces that we are consuming. So what does it mean to be in deep respect of this web? This is the science of life. This is the science of longevity. It's not just individual, it is collective. And it's so powerful because I just don't see, I don't know anything else like this. I always come back to that. I'm like, what else is like this? Just tell me, please. Because this is the thing. Most of my students, the students who come to me, they already are deeply compassionate humans. They care about the larger collective. They care about the social, the public, the land. So it's important for you to know that me as a teacher is someone that really centers this in how I teach you, in how we work together. And not all of my content on Instagram, there's only so much that I can be sharing and speaking about reflects this. But I want you to know how deeply core and key it is to me, and how I invite you into that deeper sense of awareness and care and collective tending to. It's really, really important. So I hope that really was a stream of consciousness. Like I usually am a little bit more prepared, but I hope that you all received something from this. I am closing today. I'm closing applications for the May cohort of the Embodied Ayurveda Certification Program. So if you haven't, okay, I'm so glad. I'm so glad to see you, Nancy, and that you joined. If you had wanted to get that application in, you've been thinking about it, you've been on the edge, just go ahead and apply. You know, you get a free call with me. I just love getting to know you better as well, and your deep passion and purpose for healing the collective, healing your loved ones, healing yourself, and really feeling that how you've been walking that in your own unique paths through your own unique methods. And really, again, it's about building this collaborative, co-creative, connected web of trailblazers and paradigm shifters and change makers and healers and medicine women and coaches. So it's just beautiful for me to be able to hear from you and see where exactly there are blocks coming up, where exactly there might be limitations in your method of working or thinking or your own beliefs, and what is available to you to support you in moving into that next level of your desires and your goals. So you get this incredible, insightful conversation with me where I'm so 100% present with you, and we can feel into whether you're a right fit or if this is the right time for you to join the program, because it is a considerable investment of your time, your money, your energy. You are learning, you're being trained into the science of life. So I want your full heart in. I need you fully in, and you are going to be then sharing and guiding others through this. And you're going to be going through the healing process yourself. So I understand it's a commitment, and I want you to be fully ready for it. And sometimes you can't know whether you're fully ready until you've had that conversation and you've really understood the details or some of the little questions that were coming up. So go ahead, link in my bio, apply. It's a beautiful application form as well. Like, it just invites so much good self-reflection, in my opinion. And then we hop on a call and we see what happens, what unfolds. So I'm sending you big love, and I am going to be uploading the audio on YouTube and Spotify too, which is where I have my podcast. So if you were seeking, just to tune in listening wise and not have to open the Instagram app, listen into really high level, comprehensive Ayurvedic yogic insights, definitely go to YouTube or go to Spotify or go to Apple Podcasts, whichever you listen to, subscribe. And these lives will also be uploaded there. So it'll be a mix of, some of the podcasts are extremely well structured, almost like mini seminars. And then some are this kind of more stream of consciousness style. So you can also play around with which you prefer. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Bye.